Hello again. It's Clark with the Killer Fun YouTube channel where I attempt to do Killer Sudoku. I'm on dailykillersudoku.com looking at puzzle 1737. It's a greater than or inequality Killer Sudoku, and it gave me some challenge. Thought it was pretty fun though, and for those of you who might have struggles with it, I thought I'd do a video, a solved video, so that it would help you. Of course, if you're like me, you might not want the spoiler, but watch until you get to the point where you're stuck, and maybe just a little hint will get you going down the road. You can always message me, use my handle at Killer Fun on YouTube to ask questions or put in a comment. I'd be happy to chat with you and try to help you out. Well, let's get started on this interesting puzzle. So the entry point for me, and probably for most everyone, are these 7 cages here. There's really only one option for a 7 cage that has 3 cells, and that's 1, 2, 4. And because they're both in rows 1 and 2, and in boxes 2 and 3, that forces a 1, 2, 4 in box number 1. All right, well, let's find some of these other doubles and triple cages that are very limited. 1 or 2 options. This has got 2, and we'll use that as time goes on. But I think those are the only ones that I want to work on now. So let's move forward in box number 1. We know that this is a 7, and that makes 21 and 34. So these two must be 11. So this is an 11 cage. What are the options for an 11 cage? Well, there's a lot, but we can reduce the number. The 2, 9 and the 4, 7 are not going to be possible because of the 1, 2, 4 down here in the 3rd row. So let's put in the 3, 5, 6, 8 for this 11 cage. The 14 is a bit limited. We're just going to fill that straight away. The 13, we can limit it even further. We know that any option that has a 4 is not possible because of the 1, 2, 4. So this is a 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now how to make progress here. Where is there a 3 in this box? Well, there's only one place. So this is a 3, 8 pair. The 5, 6 is not an option. And these 2 cages also have 8s. Because of this 8, we can eliminate some options here. So this is not a 6, 8. And this is not a 5, 8. So I think for these cells, that's about as far as we're going to get till towards the end of the puzzle. But we can work here, and let's start with using some of our inequalities, or in this case, an equality. This 11 is equal to this cage of 3 cells. This is also an 11 cage. And we know that this does not have a 1 because of this 4 cage. What are the options of an 11 cage, a 3-cell 11 cage? One of the options is 1, 2, 8, which is a possibility. So we've got a 1 and a 2 and an 8. 1, 3, 7. We have a 1, but the 3 and the 7 do not exist, so this is not an option. 1, 4, 6. We got a 1 and a 4, So a 6 is definitely an option there. 2, 3, 6. We have 2s, but there's no 3 or 6 to help us out there. Well, there's no 3. We've already got a 6. So this is not an option. And the 2 and the 4 with a 5 would work, except we have this 14 cage with 5, 9 as the pair, which prevents a 5 from being here. So this is not an option. So 6 and 8 are the only options for this. Now, one thing I think is nice to notice is that both of these options have a 1. And since this is the only one in this cage, this is a 1. That eliminates the 1 here. And let's keep in this cage here, this unknown cage here. This unknown cage here is limited by adjacent cages. This 6, 7, this 1, 3 in the adjacent box, and this 7, 9 in the adjacent box help limit what's going on in this cell. We also know it has to be less than 11, but that doesn't really come into play in this case. So what are the options? Can't be 1 or 3. It can be 2 and 4. It can be a 5. It cannot be a 6 or a 7. It can be an 8, but not a 7 or 9. So those are the options there. And as we look down that column, 2, 4, 5, 8 are also the options here. Sorry. Let's see. Here. So that is a quadruplet, 2, 4, 5, 8 quadruplet. And this is almost the same, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now, in column number 1, that leaves 1, 3, 9, which is pretty interesting for our 18 cage. If there was not a 9 here, is it possible to make an 18? The answer is no. There's nothing we could put here if there was not a 9 here that would make that add up to 18. So there has to be a 9 here. That eliminates the 9 from this cell. And we can come up with some options here. So this must be 1, 9 or 3, 9. And all of these can be removed because 1, 9 and 3, 9 are only in these two combinations. So that leaves 6 and 8 here. 6 and 8, which is convenient because now we have a 6, 8 pair, which limits what's going on in these two cells. We have to have our 2, 4. The only other option in those is a 7. All right, and what's remaining? We just copy that down. I wish we had a fill down, but we'll just 2, 4, 5, 6. Fill that in there. So those are the options for cage, no, box. I'll get my terminology down one of these days. Box number 7. All right. So our next step here. If we look at box 7, where is there an 8? Well, there's only one spot. So this has to be an 8. That helps us here. We know this is a 6. And 1 and 6 are 7. The remaining number must be a 4. And that limits this, and it is a 2. That takes the 2 out of all of those, leaves us with a 4, 5, 8 triplet. So 4 and 5 are no longer allowed in this cell, and we can eliminate the 6 as well. That helps us eliminate eliminates the 2 in the 4, 5, 6, and the 4 comes out of that there. So we've limited things down a bit. I like that. Because this is an 8, we know that the 1, 9 is the option here. There are no 3s here. That makes this a 3. And if this is a 3, well, let's see, we'll get to that just here. 2 in this cage makes this a 7. And let's use some more inequalities. Let's use some greater and less thans. So these two and equals, these two 3-cell cages are equal, and they are informed by this 11 and this 14, these 11 and 14 cages. Um, this cage in particular must be greater than 11 and it must be less than 14. There are only two numbers between those. That's 12 and 13. So both of these cages must be 12 or 13. And this cage helps us determine which. 2 and 7 are 9. The only way we can get a 12 or a 13 out of that is by using the 4. 5 and 6 are greater than 13. So this is a 4. There's no longer a 4 in either of those cells. All right. So this, because of this 7, is a 2. And this 13 cage helps us limit our options in these 5 cells. So these 3 cells must add up to a number less than 13. If this is a 3 and this is an 8, we already have 11. So any number we add to that is going to put us over 12, which is the maximum that could be. So we can get rid of the 8 here, which makes this the 8. So this is now a 10 cage, which, awesome. Hey, it's less than 11. So we've met that criteria. This is now 9 and 3 is 12, which is less than 13, which also matches our inequality criteria. So that's good news. What about this 14 cage? What are the options? Well, first of all, we have to have a 2, so there needs to be a 2. These options, these combinations that I'm removing are, they don't have a 2. So we need a 5 or a 6, or a 5 and a 6 in these combinations. Neither of those have a 5 or a 6. This one has a 5. There's no 6 option. We can make that a 5, which makes that a 6. 2, 5. The other number is a 7. All right. So what's next? Let's work in these two rows, rows 8 and 9. So rows 8 and 9, each of them are 45 by the basic rules of Sudoku. So two rows together add up to 90. We don't know these, but we know everything here. That's 50, and we just determined that this was a 13 cage. So these cells add up to 63, which makes these cells 27, and these cells must be 18. Now, we know that this is a 9 and that is a 7 because of this 7 here. So, if this needs to be 18, then this needs to be 9. These two cells need to be 9. So, let's see the options for a 9. I guess we can use the calculator again, lest we assume incorrectly. So, 1, 8. 1, 8. What about a 2, 7? Well, there's a 7 here. So these cannot be 2, 7. There's a 3 here. So these cannot be 3, 6. And there's a 4 here. So these cannot be 4, 5. So the only options here are 1, 8, and 9, which I think is kind of cool. There's some symmetry here. We've got a 1, 8, 9 triple, and we've got a 1, 8, 9 here. We've got a 1, 2, 4 triple, and we've got a 1, 2, 4 here. These cells correspond in position if we're looking at symmetry across the origin. Yeah, I'm math geeking out now. And we would assume that they would match these numbers. And in fact, they do. This is a 1, 8, and 9. And should we prove that? I think we should prove that. So let's let's clear that for now. Um, Here we have a 2, 5, 6 triplet. What are the options here in this? We know that this is a 13 cage. So if we have a 6, this must be 7, these two cells. So the options for 7 are 1 and a 6. Well, it can't be 1 and a 6. Let's come over here. No, try that again, Clark. Okay, 1, 6 is out. Looks like 2, 5, 3, 4. 2, 5, 3, 4. But in eight, this eight box, 2, 5 are already spoken for. So the only option is 3, 4. So now, what numbers are left in this box number 8? Well, as we said before, 1, 8, 9. And this cannot be an 8. Okay, so we're making progress here. I like this. Now, what about these? What numbers can be in these cells? Well, we're limited. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is there. We don't have a 6. And we have a 7, 8, 9. So 3, 4, 6 are there. Here, we have a 1, 9. So 1, we've got a 2, 3, 4. We've got a 5. And it looks like to me that we need a 7 there. So here are our options for these cells that all add up to be 27. This cannot be a 7 because of this 7. So how are we going to resolve these? Well, this is an interesting set of known valued cages. They add up to 36. The remainder of what should be, if this, if these were all numbered, that would add up to 45, but it doesn't. And we have this little pokey out here. So what that tells us is that the remaining 9 can be added to these 3 numbers to give us the options of what for the value of these 2 cells in this cage. So 9 plus 1 is 10, 9 plus 2 is 11, and 9 plus 4 is 13. So 10, 11, and 13 are the options for the value of those numbers in that cage. And that's going to help us. So is there any combination where we can find a 13 out of that? No. 6 and 5 would be the highest, the maximum value, and that's 11. So we could get 11, which is one of our options. Can we get anything else? 5 and 4 is 9, 5 and 3 is 8, 2, 8. Okay, so the only option that works here is a 5 and a 6. So 2 and, sorry, 5 and 6 there. So this is 11, and this, well, let's get rid of these 5s and 6s. That make sure we don't do this wrong. We need a number here less than 10 in this cage. And this has to be less than whatever value we come up with here. Sorry, did I say less than 10? It would be less than 11. This is 11. This has to be less than 11. If we use the 7 here, we could get an 11, or we could get a 10, which the 11 is not less than, it's equal, so it couldn't be 7, 4. It could be 7, 3, which is a 10. What about 2, 3, and 2, 4? 5 and 6. We don't use the 7 if we do a 5 or a 6. So if we use the 2, not the 7, this number would be low, and there would be a 7 over here, and a number less than 7. So it's not possible to have the 7 here because this would be less than this, and uh, this needs to be less than this. So this has to be a 7. Let's try that again. This has to be a 7, and it cannot be a 4 because that would be equal to 11. So now this 10 cage is less than this 11 cage, and we end up with a 6 here. So all these inequalities are um, honored, and we know what's going on here. I don't think this rectifies or resolves anything to the left there. What about moving up the board? Here in column 9, I think we're pretty limited as to what we can have here in the um, in this 13 cage. We cannot have a 5, cannot have a 6, we cannot have a 7, we cannot have a 9. So 1, 4, 8, or 2, 3, 8. There must be an 8 here, and the pairs are 1, 4, and 2, 3 that we partner with. We cannot have a 1, 2, 4 here, so this has to be a 3, 8. Does that pin these down? No, this could be an 8 and this could be a 1, 4. So let's continue to look here at these. What are the options for this 7 cage? Well, with this 2, 4, it limits. Can't be a 3, 4 or a 2, 5, so it's got to be a 1, 6. And this 9 cage cannot be a 3, 6. So I'm looking down here. Cannot be a 3, 6. It cannot be a 2, 7. And it cannot be a 1, 8 because of this 1, 6 that's already here. So it must be a 4, 5. This 1, 6 helps us resolve this. This is an 8, and this is a 1. This can no longer be a 1. This 4, 5 eliminates a 4 from this. So the 1, 4, 8 option is no longer valid. So we can also get rid of the 1 here. We could have done that also because of that cage. But now this is a 2, 3, 8. So we know this is not a 2. This 1, 4 eliminates the 4 here. This must be a 2. The 2 gets eliminated here. We don't eliminate anything else there. All right. So here in box number 6, these cages are limited. One, this cannot be a 2. It can be a 3. Cannot be a 4 or a 5 or a 6 or a 7. Cannot be an 8, but it can be a 9. And this cannot be a 1. It can be a 2. Cannot be a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or a 6 or a 7. It can be an 8. And it can be a 9. So 2, 3, 8, 2, 8, 9, 3, 9. So there's a kind of an ugly quadruplet, but whatever. All right, so now, oh, this cannot be a 2. Sorry. 8, 9. Does that change anything? No. So what are the options? Oh, you know what? I think we can resolve this. 8, 1. This cannot, in the same case, there cannot also be an 8. So that 8 is gone. This 9 is gone. These 3s are gone. And this is now a 3. All right. I feel good about that. So there needs to be, well, let's see what the options are here. There's a triple here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not a 5 yet. There's a 6. So I've got 7, 9. 5, 7, 9. That makes these two a 6, 8 pair. That's funny, there's a 6, 8 pair over there as well. Of course, not symmetrical like this 1, 8, 9, 1, 2, 4 business. All right. Now the puzzle is starting to close down a little bit. I think we can resolve the 17 and the 11, but these are going to be somewhat ugly. So let's look at this. What about an 11? This can't be a 5, 6 because that's already 11. We can't put a 0 there. So there must be a 2, 5, or a 2, 6. So there has to be a 2 here. So this 2 can be eliminated. So what are the options that have a 2, 5 and a 2, 6? Here's a 2, 6 and a 2, 5. These do not have the 2, 5, 2, 6. So this is a 3, 4 pair. All right. Look at this 17. We do have, this has been limited a bit. That 7 reduces options, but it doesn't reduce it all the way. There's still a 7 here and there's a 6, 9 here. So we definitely have the 5, 8, 9 option, and we just 6, 8, 7 could be. We still have both options there. Oh, this 8, 6 helps us a little bit here. So this is only a 5, 9, but 9 is, so this could be 9, 6, 7. So still an option, and of course we could have a 5, 8, 9 there. Okay. This 8 helps us resolve this. So this is a 2, and that is an 8. Anything else over the way here? Oh, there's a 4, 5 pair. So 4s are not allowed in. 4s and 5s are not allowed in there. That might come into play. 5, 6, 5, 6. We'd need another something to make a triplet or a quadruplet. Let's see. All right, let's look at 17. So we need a 5 and a 6. 5 or a 6. So those both, no 5 or 6 there. Ooh, lots of 5s and 6s. So let's start up here. 2, 6, 9. So could this be 2, 9? No, there's a 9 and a 2. So this could not be 2, 9. So this is not an option. What else? What about our 3, 5, 9? Could we have a 3, 9? We could. This could be a 3 and that could be a 9. Can't have the 9 here. That's not an option. 4, 5, 8. So 5, 4, 8. Okay. Now this 8 and this pair come into play. So that makes this not able to be a 4, 8. So 4, 8, 4, 5, 8 is not an option. What about 3, 6, 8? So 6 and a 3, 8. 8 cannot be here, but that could be a 3, and then this could be an 8. And a 4, 6, 7 is this 7 makes the 4, 6, 7 not plausible. So we've limited this, and the common value here is a 3, which helps us a little bit. First of all, it makes this a 4 and this a 3. It also makes this a 4, because these are all in box 5 together, and these have to be a 3. So this is 4. Now, 4 adds with 7 to make 11. So this is a 2, 5 pair. And this is a 6, which helps us sort out this 17. So this is not an option. It's the 3, 8 option. So this 9 and this 3 are out. And we have 3, 8 here. This 8 is gone. This with this 6 is gone. We have a 5, 9 pair there. Oh, 5, 9 rectifies or resolves this. So this is an 8. So everything else but 8. 5, 6, 7, 9. And this is a 6 and this is an 8. And this 8, ooh, comes all the way over into box number 1 and helps us out there. So this is a 3 and this is an 8. Wish we could resolve some of that a little further. Alas, not yet. All right, so I guess I'm just gonna fill those in. All right, so let's figure out what goes in these cells here. We know there's not, don't want that alert to pop up. What goes here in these 3 cells? We know it's not a 1, 2, 4, but it could be a 3 here, but not there. Not a 4. Well, 5, 6, and a 7, but not an 8 and a 9. Not here. This is the most limited of the cells there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 there. And in these cells here, I think we've got so we've got 1, 2, and 2 is not here. Well, hold on, let's see. Before I go much further, it looks like I can gonna clear those out for a second. I can kind of unwind this a little bit. This 4 resolves, this is a 5, and this is a 4, which helps us here. This is a 5, and that is a 4. So, did I fix anything else? 1, 6, 2, 5, 4, 2. All right, what's here? Looks like we can have a 1, cannot have a 2. We got a 3, 4, 5. We can have a 6. Oh, this 3. We don't need a 3 there. 1, 6. All right. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is a 1, 6, which 1, 6 pair. So this is a 3, and this is a 1. And that helps us out here. This is a 6, and this is a 1, which makes this a 6. Very cool. Eliminates 6 there. Okay, what about these two cells? We don't have a 2. We got a 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. And I don't see anything above or below that helps rectify that. What about this? This is less clean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, I think we've got everything filled in. So let's see if we can do some cleanup. Um, this is not a this 3 makes sure that this is not a 3. And in box number 2, this is the only place where there's a 3. So 5, 6, 7, 9 are out. This is a triple. So I think, and these 6s force the 6 to be here. So, and where is there a 6 in this box? So, wow, 3 ways. This is a 6. 5, 7, 9, which helps us resolve this to be a 7 and this to be a 6. I like that. Let's resolve. Let's resolve more. What else can we resolve? I think this might be this 8. 1, 9, 1, 9. That makes this and 8. I think this might be a point in the puzzle. I think I slid the scroll bar there for a second. I think this might be a point in the puzzle where we need to do some kind of magic. It's frustrating to me. I don't, oh wait, we can clean this up. These are not a 4, which means these are not a 1, which makes this a 4. So I guess I'm going to throw down the gauntlet now to all my many viewers. Probably future viewers is who I'm throwing the gauntlet down to. Let's say, what else? Never mind. We're going to roll that back. Just a minute. Hold that thought. Now I'm throwing the gauntlet down. Where else? Nope, nope. Where else can we make some progress on this? We have a 5-9 pair here. We've got a 5-7-9 triplet there. We have another 5-9, 5-7-9 triplet. We got this disaster. We have this 2-7-9 triplet. We got a double here, and we got this kind of fun little, I don't know what is that, pseudo X-wing kind of double, double pair. Anyway, I don't think there's a way to move forward. I cannot, let me tell you, not now, but I was banging my head against this puzzle for a long time trying to figure out how to make progress, and I could not make any. So what I came up with was this here. This seems to be kind of a linchpin cell. Um, we've got some inequalities here that chain up and um, in well, hold on, I forgot these bad boys down here. My 11s help us as well. Um, so all of these inequalities in cells kind of come together to force one of these to be correct, but only one. So let's go through them. So what if this was a 9? So I'm going to say, okay, you're now a 9. These cannot be 9s. This is a 7. This is a 9. This is a 5. And this is a 9. Okay, so let's check our inequalities here quickly. This is 13. Is this greater than 13? Yes. 9 and 9 is 18. Greater than 13. Well, this must be greater than this. 18. Is this greater than 18? Yes. It's 19. That's awesome. So 19 is greater than 18. But this must be even greater. This must be 20 or greater, but less than 22. So this must be 20 or 21. So how do we do that? Let's see. I think we can make some further resolutions with this option. So this is a 5 and this is a 9. This is a 7 now, and that means we can't have 7s there, and we cannot have 9s anywhere here, and this is a 7, and this is not a 7. Okay, so we got a 1, 5 here. Suddenly, this doesn't look so great because we have a 19 here, and this cannot be greater than 19. We're going to have, in fact, it's what the maximum can be. If this was a 5, would be 14. So we have proven now that 9 is not an option. So I'm going to carefully undo this. Back us out till we have those 3 options here. So once again, we know this is not a 9. So 2 options now. What if it was a 7? So I say you are a 7. Will that help us? This is no longer a 7. This is no longer a 7. This first inequality, does it apply? This is 13. Here we have 9 and 7 is 16. Certainly this applies. Now, what needs to happen here so that it is greater than 16? Well, 3, let's try the 5959. 5 and 9 is 14, is 17. So that won't work. Wait. Yeah, well, 15. Sorry. Not, no. 9, 9 and 7 is 16. This has to be greater than 16. If this is 14, yeah, 17 will work. So 5, 9 works, and so would 7. Um, uh, but the 7, 5 combo would not work. Oh, hold on. I'm missing out. No, let's, because of this 5, 9 pair, this must be a 7. Okay, now I thought there was another something, a wrinkle that was more interesting here. So this is 10, and uh, 9 and 7 is 16. So 10 plus 5 is not greater than 16. So this needs to be a 9. And that makes this a 5, and this a 9, and this a 5. So let's, this inequality is honored, and this inequality is honored. What about this inequality? Okay, so this is 19. How do we make this 20 or 21? This 19 and this 22 force this to be 20 or 21. So I'm going to say that the 1 and the 2 make that difficult. If this was a 1, what? If this was a 1, and we match the rest out, 9 and 5, oh, 9 and 7. So 9 and 7 plus 1 is 17. Not going to work. So the 1 is not here. What about the 2? So if we use the 2, and then we max this out, 9 and 7. So 9 and 7 is 16 plus 2. Also not greater than 19. So the 2 is not here. So here's your option, 5, 7, 9. So 7, 9 is 16 plus 5 is 21. That is greater than this. It is less than 22, but that forces the 1 and the 2 here. 1 and 2 and 6 is not greater than 11. 1 and 2 and 6 is 9. So this 7 option does not work. So let's carefully unwind that and go with the 5. All right, so let's prove this right. This is a 5, which, wow, eliminates, makes that a 7. This 9 makes this a 5, which makes this a 9. And the 7 and the 9 make this a 5. Okay. This is a 9 and this is a 7, which eliminates 7s there. And this is a 5, which eliminates 5s there. So how are our equalities here? So once again, 13, this is 14, this is 15. That chain works. So this has to be greater than 15. Either 1, 9 or 2, 9 will make this greater. Um, so we got 10, which is 17, which is greater than 15, or 11, which makes that 18. So there's going to be a 9 here, so there's not a 9 there. So this is 11. This is going to be greater than 11. 6 and 7 is 13. That's already greater than 11. And it's already less than 17 or 18. So this works. So let's just unwind this. Um, And we do that. This is the only 5 left now in this row. This is a 5 and this is a 2. So this 2 goes away and this becomes a 1. 176 is 14, which is greater than 11. 9 is 18, which is greater than 15. And this is 14, which is greater than 13. Now, 9 makes this a 1, makes this a 9, makes this a 1, makes this a 9. And 7 makes this a 9 and this a 7. Okay, there you have it. Hopefully that was interesting. Um, I thought it was a very challenging puzzle. Once again, if any of the many future watchers of this puzzle want to jump in the comments and let me know if there was a way to solve the puzzle without testing that one cell, the 579 cell, I'd be very interested. Please subscribe um, and come back, watch some more videos on Killer Fun.